Have you left the golf course or the driving range feeling like your back has got a lot of pain in it or it's really sore? Is your golf swing causing this? Well, I got great news for you today, guys. In today's video, we're going to be focusing in on 3 of the most common mistakes made that could be potentially putting your back in harm's way while you're playing golf. I'm also going to show you how to overcome these 3 ways right from your setup position all the way into how you rotate into your backswing so that you never have to battle back pain ever again. Okay guys, so in fault number 1 today, we're going to be talking about your setup position and how you could potentially be putting yourself in harm's way and start to feel a lot of that lower back discomfort. I know a lot of us have been there before and we want a better, clear solution on how we're going to fix that so we don't necessarily start our golf swing off on the wrong tone. So the number 1 mistake that we typically see from a lot of amateur golfers is that we know that we need to get our hips back quite a bit. So we want to stick our butt out. I know we've all heard that golf tip before, but we try to keep our chest up when that's happening. What I want you to start to do is from a vertical position here, is I want you to think of your hips as an active hinge point here. So your hips are going to start to move back, but as that's happening, you can see that my spine is starting to move this way. Okay, so my spine is starting to go the opposite direction, and it's acting as a counterbalance. Okay, so you need to allow your chest to move over the golf ball. That doesn't mean I want you to necessarily get really rounded in your shoulders, but I also don't want you to feel like you have to hold your chest up because you can see the ball and you're still trying to push your back out or your rear end back, because this can actually start to create a lot of curvature and a lot of discomfort on the back part of your spine there, in the lower part. For those of you that have started to hinge more than you've ever hinged before in your golf swing, what you can do is you can try to pull your belly button up towards your spine. Okay, so if you feel like your chest is way more over the ball than you're used to, and that's typical, as a lot of amateur golfers like to stand really vertical, is allow the chest to move over the ball, and if you still feel a little bit of that curvature back there and it's a little bit uncomfortable, pull your belly button in, suck it in a little bit, pull it up towards your spine, and that'll help take some of that curvature off the lower part of your spine here. That'll also engage your core for you at the address position, which is really great for being able to rotate your body properly in your backswing. Okay gang, so now that we've looked at the first fault, we're gonna look at the second most common fault, and that is over-rotating your spine. Now what that can cause is, and I want you to think of a towel, okay? If you think about a towel, you start to wind it up really, really tight. What is that towel going to do? Well, you're gonna see it start to shrivel up and start to change directions, and that's essentially what can happen to your spine during the golf swing. So how do we fix that? Okay, and first off, let me show you what an over-rotated golf swing would look like. Okay, so you're gonna see me be able to rotate quite a bit. See how my spine is now leaning more towards the target? That's gonna compress your lower vertebrae and put you in a really dangerous position. And that's not what we wanna do in the golf swing. We wanna be able to protect your body and use it as a big unit for power. So what we gotta focus on here is, number 1, we gotta be able to stabilize our lower half. We gotta be able to use our lower body as kind of a post. And I always like to think of our legs as like mailbox posts. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab a club at home. You're gonna lay it across your chest here. Try not to bump my mic a whole lot so we don't have a lot of feedback. And I want you to go ahead and take your golf posture. And your goal here is, and I want you to have the club on this side of your body here, on the right side of your body, club head. And we're gonna shift our weight to the right. Okay, so I've got about 85% of my weight in my right heel. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my right knee flexed and facing back at you at home, and I'm gonna pull this club head towards my spine. So now what you can notice here is that my spine is long on this side. You can see how I'm long up my left side. That's maintaining my axis tilt. So let me show you again here. Okay, shift my weight, knee flexed and facing forward. You're gonna start to feel some big muscles start to really start to load up and engage here. Another way for you to think about this at home is staying long in your left side. If you start to squinch up on your left side down here, then chances are you're over-rotating your spine. You're gonna start to compress that lower back again. So try to feel long in your left side of your body for right-handed players at home. So again, let's look at that small shift. Pull the club head back behind you, feel long in your left obliques, and now you've got a good loaded up position that's not gonna have your head moving all over the place. Okay, so now that we've looked at some of the common mistakes from the setup position and even rotating into your backswing, let's talk a little bit about the downswing. Now, kind of much like that towel analogy that I gave you over in section number 2, think about what rotation is in your downswing. So if we were to get to the top of our swing and we were to rotate our body really hard, what is that essentially gonna do to your spine? Well, rotation at the end of the day, bottom line here, is its sheer force on your spine. It's sheer force, so it's starting to put a lot of wear and tear on those things. So I know there's been a lot of golf instruction out there that's been talking about rotate your body as hard as you can through the hitting area. Well, there's a much more efficient and much more safe way to swing the golf club. We've got several drills on the website that help you out with that. But what I want you to focus on is this. Going back to drill number 2, okay, we're gonna pile this in, all right? This is gonna be the same sort of drill. We're gonna load up, rotate to the top of our swing. And now what I want you to try and do at home is we're gonna externally rotate our lead leg. So external rotation, like a baseball player would make that sort of movement. Now with golf, we're stuck to the ground, but we're still gonna feel that same sort of movement. For those of you guys that are into the anatomy and so forth, this is actually called internal femur rotation. So what we're gonna do, again, back to that same drill, is up to the top, shift my weight to my right side. I've done this enough drills. I'm just gonna externally rotate my lead leg until my hips and knees come back to a square position. So let me show you from down the line here. So, okay, so my hips and knees are virtually back to square. You can see that my chest is still quite a bit closed. What we would do at that point is we would start to post up and pull the shoulders back into the hitting area, and this is gonna alleviate any of that excess rotation that you've been battling with in your golf swing. So let's look at this from a full standpoint now. So we're gonna load up to the top, externally rotate our lead leg until our hips and knees are back to square, and then I'm gonna pull my left hip away from the target. So I'm clearing my hips now, much like we talk about in the straight left leg video, and that's now pulled my hips and shoulders to a square position, and I'm in a good impact position here. So for those of you that have been battling with spinning your upper body very hard or spinning your entire body really hard, try this drill out. Do 100 to 150 reps of this. Then start to put the club back in your hands and go right up to the top of your swing. Okay. External rotation, clear it out, and now you're ready to start to release the club. And you can slowly start to add more and more speed to this. Okay, so those of you that may have battled back pain in the past, let's just go ahead and run through a quick recap of some of the things that you're gonna be looking for while starting these drills out. First and foremost, allow yourself, when you're starting to get over the golf ball, allow your chest to move over the ball actively. Don't just try to keep the chest up and push your hips back. That's gonna start to put a lot of compression in that lower vertebrae. Also, pull your belly button up towards your spine. That's gonna help take some of that curvature off there, and it's also gonna get your midsection, your core, really engaged. For those of you that have been battling with an over-rotated golf swing, really, really important that you shift your weight and keep your right leg flexed and facing forward, and then you're gonna feel long in your left side if you're a right-handed player. Do that drill several times with the club across your body, like I demonstrated in section number 2. And then slowly start to put the club back in your hands. Maybe go to the light end first and drill it out, feeling the exact same movements. And you're gonna be in a much better position at the top of your swing. For those of you that have been really big on spinning your body from the top of your swing, go back into that same drill. Try to feel like you're staying wound. Externally rotate your lead leg. That'll start to pull your shoulders or unwind your shoulders for you. And then at that point, post up by clearing that left leg, and you'll notice that your body lines are gonna be very, very good here at impact, and you won't be rotating through the hitting area. You can actually start to release it and have tons of speed. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in to another edition of RotarySwing.com. I'm RST instructor Chris Tyler. Remember, do me a favor and click that thumbs up button down there for me. Also, remember, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post those up below, and we'll help you out as best we can. Also, remember to subscribe to our channel. That way you get updates on any time we put out some of our latest free videos. Now let's get out there. Let's start playing some of our best and most safe golf. Let's make it a great day. We're not gonna try to keep turning our body. We're gonna allow the club, because we're losing some speed here at the bottom of the swing arc. Okay, as soon as we make contact with the golf ball when it collides, we're losing almost 60% of the energy. At that point, the club should be pulling me into a finish position. I don't need to be working to continue